Welcome to another episode of Waves of Wisdom. Today, I am recording this episode in Chennai, India, at the office of none other than the famous global speaker and an expert on marketing and many other businesses, Praveen Shekhar, all the way from Chennai, India. Welcome to the show, Praveen.
My pleasure.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, as usual.
Yes. There's only one life he has, and when you decide to enjoy it fully, you enjoy it every second.
Yes. By the way, whenever I meet you, I love the energy you carry, and you have the signatures, laughter, and I think first time we met in GSS summit in Bali, and then I really enjoyed your session and everything. I didn't know much about you at that time, but now I know a lot more. Praveen, let's start with our conversation with how you started your career after your studies or whatever. At what stage did you start to, and how it led you to find what you are doing now, your passion and everything. Yeah.
So I started working part-time even when I was in college. And it so happened that all the jobs I had during my summer breaks involved talking to people.
Yeah.
So I joined as a field interviewer with Indo Matsushita, which is now Nippo Batteries in India. It's fairly big.
Yeah.
Then with the Levers, then with another company. So by the time I got into the final year, I was picked up by a company deeply involved in market research. And what were we doing there? Researching to help marketing teams take decisions. And that was the starting point of me becoming a marketer myself, by talking to people, observing people, collecting data, analyzing, and then coming up with insight. And technically, I've only worked for one company for 3.5 years in my entire career, because I turned an entrepreneur a long time ago, much before entrepreneurship was sexy or glamorous, as you would call it. It isn't. It's a lot of grunt work, but that is what set me on the path into the wide world of data, decisions, a lot of drama, marketing research, and thereabout all the spin-offs and various businesses I've been involved in.
Wonderful. So, did you like marketing and market research from the beginning?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did do 4 years of engineering because the time when I grew up, the culture, there were only two or three choices: engineer, doctor, lawyer. So it was already decreed that I'm going to be an engineer. Thankfully, I did engineering in electronics and communication. But all my life now is just in communicating.
Yes.
Whether it is marketing, copywriting, pitching, adjusting, or even speaking from stage, it's marketing. But to answer your question, yes, there always has been, because I loved the stage from the beginning. I loved connecting with people. Yes. So yes, marketing has been my first love. Don't tell that to my wife.
I think she's going to listen to this podcast. Do you think that the training you got at the college level, at the school level, in communication, and because even though it is engineering, it is into more of like electronic communication, right? So you must have been very vested with the technology aspect of it back then, right? And telemarketing. Those days, telemarketing was quite sexy, I guess.
Quite a bit. So the answer is yes, both ways, because even though it was an engineering school, they had a very big English division, and all of us fell in love with it. We were almost always hanging out at the English and Humanities department. And the professors there helped train me to become a better speaker, to go in front, not necessarily the professional speaking world that we are in, but the technical speaking world. How are you going to communicate the paper presentations, synopsis, and the like? But in parallel, like you have Toastmasters, there are also smaller associations for students that I was active in. And I would say that framed and shaped my analytical mind. But that is necessary from a marketing. Of course, it's a completely different creative world out there. But can you bring method to the madness? I've been trying, succeeding in sometimes, not so in the others. But that would be my answer to you, that regardless of what your grounding is, I'm currently researching entrepreneurs who have turned entrepreneurs after they are 50 years old, which means they've been working somewhere, then took a jump, took a call. And when you profile, look at the guts of these people with EMIs and loans and other things, spending, jumping into the world of entrepreneurship. It is that inherent passion that is awakened at a later stage in life, but better late than never. In my case, it started off very, very early. I was thankful enough to have good professors, both English in school and college. and a lovely boss who came and said, Praveen, you're no good sitting behind a computer. You need to be out there meeting people. And that was where the business development virus got into me.
So ever since you have been carrying that virus.
Yes, and traveling the world over.
Wonderful. So you mentioned about something which I am also very passionate about, which I talked at even at the PSS about becoming unretirable.
Yes.
And I'm glad to hear that people, even after 50 years, they are taking entrepreneurship as a path and then trying to do what they love to do,
Yes.
and even at the later years of their life. How, in your experience, how important is that to follow something like this in their life? Because, like you mentioned, it is better late than never. Right?
Yes. In my case, my advice is have many affairs. Have many affairs. Now, get me right. Marry once, live happily. But how do you find out where your passion lies without trying it a little bit? So when you go to a buffet, you don't load up your plate with just one dish. You take a little bit of each, find out what you like, and then pick up a second or third helping. And there are terms that are coming in today's world called moonlighting and sunlighting, something I just learned from another professional speaker, Arun Kumar. Now, moonlighting is when you do a second job or a business without telling the main company, hiding and somehow getting it through. Sunlighting is going and doing it with their blessings, that I'm doing something that's unconnected with this work, and that's my weekend passion project, and I want to go ahead and work. And if you get a good boss and a good company, they will bless that sunlighting project. And I'm a huge proponent of having multiple affairs, because you will have several various interests. There is an old adage, yes, that says jack of all trades, master of none. That's false. You have to be a jack of all trades to be a master of one. In my case, it is communication. How will I grow if I don't have varied interests? When I'm faced with a problem, I can pick and choose from the various different interests of mine, knowledge sources, and come up with a solution. If I'm only stuck in a well and doing things just one way or the other, I don't have any other way to look at things. So my answer to you is, one must have multiple interest areas, knowledge sources, and experiments to try out your passion. How do I know? So date a few of these ideas, and if there is a relationship to be built up, then may it consummate into something a little bit more serious.
If there's some chemistry happening.
Yes.
So this is quite interesting, because actually a lot of people, I also observe, wait for later part of their life or mid-careers, after something, or until they lose their first permanent, which they thought the lifetime job, then they started thinking of this. How important is for especially youth? Like you said, you started quite early. I be very frank, I started moonlighting a little bit later, halfway through my career. But how important it is to, in your experience, to start it early in the career?
The earlier the better, because you wouldn't know what the fitment is, and all of us go behind fads. So whatever is the fad right now, we jump in, not knowing if it is going to be a fad, a fashion, or a everlasting style that's going to go on. So for us, we will need to try out a bunch of these ideas. And all the ideas are useless ideas if it doesn't have a form, if it doesn't have a shape, be it a micro project or a micro business for a limited period of time for you to run. And especially given the age of AI, all of us, if you only have one job, it's going to eat the job sooner rather than later. And therefore, I will pass on the advice that I got from my mentor, who continues to advise me over several decades, is have multiple sources of revenue. At any point in time, you need to have multiple sources of revenue. And if that is going to be a revenue that is not dependent on you being there full time, then that is going to multiply and come back. And how do you know? Only when you try out a few different things and you fail quite a lot. And the analogy I use is, you cannot learn cycling without falling down and ripping your pants. You cannot learn swimming without gulping in a gallon of water.
I think we all have done it.
And I loved your talk, which is the unretirable part of it. You know, there is no retirement age. With all the modern medicines and the marvels that are coming in, the dying age is already moving 60, 70, 80, 90 to maybe 100. And therefore, we will need to have revenue continuing to sustain that. And I'm by no means a workaholic, but when you work, and you have these multiple seeds that you plant like a farmer, it is very, very important, yes.
I think this is a very important message for the youth of today, because a lot of people are taking it for granted, and they are just lying down, because past decade or so, the entire world is not only in one country, but what I've seen is the politicians also has been promising sun, moon, and the heaven
Yes.
in every election, and then the youth thinks that the everything has to come from the government and they feel entitled and they just relax and chill and play games and online and spend time on the social
Yes.
media. So I think this is very important because we have to remind them they are also going to go old.
Yes.
So one day the time when they want to think about retirement, it might be too late.
Yes.
So coming back to your area, currently, I know you work on multiple things. You have multiple businesses and things like that. What is that one thing out of everything which you are doing, which you are really passionate and you can't wait to wake up every morning?
My purpose in life is
Yes.
crystal clear, Yas.
Yes.
It is to inspire creators.
Okay.
So anywhere I see creators, I'm happy to, that wakes me up. If you have a passion project that's stuck somewhere, can I inspire you to go ahead finish it? If you have a book idea behind, and can I become the catalyst to get that book out? And 2 days ago you saw we had 9 authors who came out of that inspiring creators stable.
Congratulations for that. I
Yes.
think you did a wonderful job. Yeah.
So when that is the only passion I have, which is to inspire creators, I can do it by speaking from a stage, I can do it by writing, I can do it by patting someone or kicking them in the back when they need it the most. So that's what gets me up and running. Apart from a lot of micro projects that I'm involved in, because if you have an idea and the idea is solid, it becomes a passion, how can you give it shape and put it on its path?
Yes.
And the one that I'm working on is Kural, my speaker agency, specifically for newer speakers who are turning professionals. That's also inspiring creators because through their voices, we're reaching to a whole lot more people, kindling them to do more, to strive for more, and get their hindquarters out of the couch and get going to do something. So IA's inspiring creators is my purpose in life. And this was coined by 14 other strangers in a creative retreat I had a few years ago.
Inspiring creators.
Inspiring creators. So it has been crowdsourced by a random bunch of 14 strangers who had no idea who I was, because we shed all our ego, vanity, impressions, image when we went into that 5-day retreat, coordinated by Arun Verma from Creative Ghar. And it's like every 5 years you need to rekindle a passion, or you need to figure out, and
that you are
that
on the right path or
yes.
not. Yeah.
So that opened up a whole lot of channels. And I'm out here through the waves of wisdom to reach out to a lot of you people, to inspire you to go ahead and do it. Tomorrow is there, but we have today, and I have right now. So when Iyaz reached out saying, when can we do it? Well, we'll do it right now before he runs over to catch a flight. Right? Carpe diem, seize the day, the moment is now. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but right now I'm here enjoying talking with Iyaz and to all of you.
Yes, great. I think that's fantastic. And even I didn't know I was a creator until recently.
You are
Yeah,
creating, yes.
until I participated in some, because even in the Maldives, the government is promoting something called the creator economy.
Right.
So I participated in some workshops run by the I think ADB and UNDP and people like that. And then I realized I myself is a creator. I'm glad that we are connected. Somebody who inspires other creators as well. And I always I get that fascinated by the energy, like I mentioned earlier. How you keep that up? what do you do to keep that spirit, that energy,
well,
all the time?
People charge me up.
Yeah.
Connecting with people definitely is something across the globe. And we are blessed as speakers that we have multiple circles that we keep working through. If you have to go somewhere, why don't you go with full energy, right? So that's my motto in life, that if there's something to be done, do it to the best that you can and a little bit more, right? And if there is something that I'd like to share on, it's energy, it's love, it's smiles, because we have only one life, Yas. And I would rather live it with someone else who is even that micro moment, with somebody who smiles with me, laughs with me, and walks with me, rather than being morose and saying, there are enough negativity around in the whole world. Well, we can create a positivity cocoon around us. 2 smiles, 1 hug is all it takes to get the energy going.
Correct.
What's stopping us?
Yeah. When you walk in the room, you can feel it. If any audience, any room. So my next question is actually for the creators. With the new technologies like AI and a lot of other technologies which are coming up, people will have more time. So in your view, I think the creativity is a human original instinct.
It is.
So it's down the line somewhere, this has been suppressed by the social norms and things like that, education systems. I
Yes.
wouldn't blame very much, but sometimes it's responsible for it,
It
because
is.
they train the kids when we were in school also only to
Yes.
pass a certain exam, but not to find our own passion and pursue it thereafter. So how important do you think it is to actually, for the creators, to start creating something and sharing it to the world as early as possible?
Yes. So you may believe in God, or you may believe in some superior being out there that has enabled you and me to be a channel for creating something and putting it out there. It could be art, it could be a speech, it could be writing, it could be creating or manufacturing something. Each of us will find what that line is. And when we have been given that power, we also have the responsibility to put it out there into the world. It is out there to go find out who needs that assistance at that particular point. For example, you have this Waves of Wisdom podcast that is running. You've got multiple people that you have connected with. At some particular point, I may be in a slightly dull moment in my life or with a bunch of questions, and somehow I'll get a link of exactly that particular podcast that you have with that guest answering that question for me, that will appear when I need it. You call it magic, you call it whatever. But I have had that happen to me several times. When I'm stuck and I need an answer, it comes from completely unrelated source. Sometimes my friend comes and gives a book in my hand that he liked reading, and the book answers all the questions that I have in my mind. How does that happen? Because there is some magic in the universe, yes, that you as a creator, I'm talking, this message could impact somebody 10 years later.
In India,
because we are letting it out. We call it karma. I call it paying it forward. That when you are positive, you help a lot of people. There is a way for that help to come in when you need it the most. And that is my request to all of us, that when we have the power to create and let it loose. And the rule number 2, it's okay to be bored. It's okay to just sit idle. It is okay not to do anything, because that's your subconscious warming up, getting the rest. And this is an example I quote quite a lot, between the difference between a person sleeping and a person in coma. When a person is in coma, the brain is fighting for survival. When the person is sleeping, the brain is getting energized, getting charged up. So we need to sleep more often, not necessarily the physical, not more than 7-8 hours, but it's okay to be bored, to charge and read and have multiple interests, yes, so that you don't know when the spark will come, but the subconscious is always working, giving you that spark. People call it the gut instinct or the aha moment. Somehow it comes through. How does it come through? Because you fed the brain with a whole lot of these aspects. When it is at rest, it is connecting the neurons and you're getting newer ideas.
Okay.
Right? So my request is, you know your purpose, you know what that passion is. Go ahead, you have the power to create, you let it loose.
You are one person I really wanted to talk about passion. You brought up this word right now.
Yes.
And because the kind of passion you emitted, very few people, even if they are passionate about it, they can. And through my research and speaking with a lot of people, I identified some people have identified that purpose, their why, but sometimes they are not passionate about it.
Yes.
Why this disconnection comes, and how can you bridge this gap between passion and the purpose?
The purpose is overarching, which not necessarily finish this book. That can't be a purpose. The purpose is overarching. Towards that purpose, you have to take up a lot of these passion projects. The only thing we need to do is get up in the morning and work on your passion project. Get up the next morning, work on your passion project. Don't allow a delay and ship it out there into the universe. Yes. A lot of us, I can say I'm a great cook. Really? Yeah, I cook for myself and keep it. I never show it to people outside. How will they know? And number 2, surround yourself with a positive circle. I told you about the mastermind we had. We had 2 days of phenomenal learning from global speakers. We spent the whole day, each one contributing what I learned from this speaker, what am I going to implement, how am I going to, and we create an accountability partnership. And that keeps the passion alive. Even you light a fire, you need somebody to come and stoke the fire and somebody to keep another log on it, somebody to blow on it so that your fire continues to grow. I have been lucky enough to form and be a part of such a positive, creative circle. And I will tell you something that my first book coach, Kriba Shankar, told me. I'm now at 25 books. My 26th book is coming up.
Wonderful.
And the first thing he said is, announce to the world that I am writing a book, but observe the people's expressions. 95% will say, what, you and all writing a book are nonsense, look at that. But the 5% will say, wow, we've been waiting for your book. How can I help you? How can I support you?
Yes.
That 5% becomes your support tribe. You start writing for them, they start giving you feedback, and that's how the stoking, blowing, and putting one more log into the fire comes. And when that fire comes, it becomes our duty to take a lighted log and go light another fire, maybe several more fires.
Exactly. You brought up Kiruba Shankar. He is one such a person.
Yes.
And one person I shared first actually about my book, which I wanted to write about unretirable, because I have been having this idea and you heard my story. And then, so it all has been cooking up in my head.
Yes.
So I wanted to put it out there, like you mentioned. And then I shared this during GSS Bali, I think, with him. And he's the one who actually suggested me and encouraged me actually to start interviewing and turn these interviews into a podcast.
Beautiful.
And I think Kiruba is one of them. So I'm grateful for him as well. And we find these people along our way, right? So it is, like you're saying, it's very important for us to know them.
Yes.
And then keep in contact, keep the connection, keep the spark alive. And one thing you mentioned, which a lot of people cannot do, you said every day you need to work on the your passion project. So that is the consistency, right? How important that is, and what you do the days when you are not, for example, if you don't feel like doing it. Because a lot of people, what happen is, okay, today I don't feel like doing it, okay, then I don't do it today. Again, tomorrow comes, tomorrow also, okay, I will do day after. So after like a week of day, you don't even remember that you were passionate about it. Yeah.
There's always this voice inside that wants you to conform, wants you to take the lazy route, wants you to just be a part, not stand out. Our first job is to silence that negative voice within. All of us have it. And the only way to silence is by doing. And even if you can, whatever your passion project is, you commit to your group and every day you write and ship it, or you say and ship it, or you put it up in some format. Yes. Because what happens is our body also rolls back to the old normal. Why I'm happy, I've written 10, it's not come out well, I will leave it. What will come out well in the first edit? Because if you are a writer, if you are a speech writer, if you're working on something, the beauty comes in the rewriting. The beauty comes in recrafting your speech. The first ideas are raw when you put it in place, but we have to keep chipping away. So if you ask me one thing, every day keep chipping away. I write every single day. In days when I'm unable to write, I audio note it, that I speak, and that is transcribed and put in, right? So you have to silence the voice, and the only way to silence the voice is to do what you have committed to do to your circle, and you continue to ship it.
Why this voice?
It's there in all of us, because I think more or less our cultures are also similar, yes, that we have been taught to conform. We've been taught to be a part of a system.
Compliance.
Yes, completely. And the voice within also forces you to comply. Some say maybe the voice is warning you, it is trying to protect you from falling down, literally and otherwise. Perhaps yes, but if you don't fall down, how can I learn a cycle? How to cycle? How can I know how to swim? So at some point you will need to. And remember, I'm tying it back to the old passion, the purpose. It is to put what the superior being has given us. I may have certain skills, you may not have that skills, which means I have a proclivity to that. It is my duty to ship it out there in the world. Hopefully it reaches the right recipient and answers that recipient's problem or question that he or she has at that particular. So that would just keep chipping away.
Great, great. I think that is, you gave quite good nuggets of, how to keep going and doing it. And sometimes people work on certain project, like you mentioned, for some time, and then they might give up and never come back to that. If somebody is at that stage, what do you think they need to do?
We'll have to resurrect the dead. Whenever I've committed to my group, they remember. And they ask me, what is the status? What is going on? Two, I have accountability partners who not only ask, they call and say, hey, I've not heard it from you yet. And I'll give you a simple example. One of our professional speakers, every Monday morning, his LinkedIn newsletter comes. Every Monday morning. And last year, It did not come for 2 Mondays. Immediately, one of our followers and accountability partner called him to find out he had had a heart attack.
Oh.
And therefore, for 2 weeks, he had not put it. But this is the amount of follow-up. People you have not even seen are following your work. And if it doesn't come for 2 Mondays, try to reach out to you and find out what's going on. Is everything okay? So you see the power of this consistency, especially in today's world, Yaz. Waves of wisdom, you don't know how many shores it is going to cross and who it is going to positively impact. But your job is chipping away, and your job is being opportunistic, because we met 2 days ago, you reached out yesterday, and today here we are recording it. Maybe sometime later it's going to go live. So you are actually going with the flow despite having a flight to catch. So that little bit of adjustment, commitment is almost always going to be there. Bring it out and continue to bring it out.
Yeah. And if you are passionate about it, we've somehow find a way to make it happen, right?
Your old loves will find you.
Yes. True. So specifically because we both are in the professional speaking world, right? So you are in the marketing.
Yes.
And you started this agency, speaker agency. I think it is a good startup.
Yeah.
And I wish you success on that.
Thank you.
And then how important it is actually to, what are the things we need to consider as speakers? Somebody might be a good speaker, or like especially upcoming speakers, that is your passion in helping them. Upcoming speakers, what they need to do with your experience. If you are, for example, starting all over 20 years back, or for somebody who is starting over, what is the advice you are going to give?
Find a specific problem for a small micro market and provide the solution. That is what I would do if I am restarting. Not the whole world, not my entire country, not my state, but that small particular target segment, and having identified a specific pain point, which is a real pain point, yes, not a want, but a need. They need a solution for it. And through my speaking, my creativity, my writing, if I can address that particular pain point, I automatically have my 10, 20, 30 fans, the true fans, who will want me to solve other problems, who will introduce me to others who have a similar problem for me to go ahead. So should I have the opportunity to wipe the slate clean and restart, I will start small, I will start micro and continue to grow, because that particular identification of the TG, the target group, and the pain point, whether you are a speaker, whether you are a consultant, a marketer, an entrepreneur, an artist, it comes down to that particular identification of the segment. In marketing terms, we find it the product market fit. And when you find that out, the resonance, it happens automatically. I can give you an example, because one of the problems that kept coming, because one of my businesses is in the pharmaceutical research space called Kriya, one of India's leading healthcare research companies. The doctors kept coming and asking, how can I brand myself? How can I brand myself? Because in India, doctors cannot advertise.
Yes.
Right? So I wrote a short article called Ophthalmologist Brand Yourself, and came out with a series and got it out as a small mini book and started giving it away. The Ophthalmology Association started booking me. I've traveled all over India talking to ophthalmologists how to brand themselves. Right? So you've got to know the pain point. You need to have a solution. You give it in various formats, and business will come in search of you, because I know that's a real problem. I know what you cannot do. But these are things that you can within the legal, ethical, moral framework, and go right ahead. These are the doctors that have done. So that continues to be a running loop where every year I'm called for all the related associations to come and give a talk on this particular aspect.
So that is a very beautiful example, I think. So how they can identify this problem? I think even in entrepreneurship, nobody can survive or sustain their business if they cannot, like even speakers.
Right.
If their speech does not give away any value, or does not solve a problem for the organization or for individual people. So for most of the people, it is hard to find this problem. First, they have to identify the problem to come up with a solution, right? So how they can identify this problem?
Well, first, be true is what I will, because we go in with a lot of assumptions that this is the pain point, this is the solution. We end up coming up with the solution without researching enough, without talking to the target group.
This is where a lot of tech companies went bust.
Yes, because I am developing something, assuming you have the problem, but I have not even bothered to ask you, live your life, walk in your shoes, find out if it is a real problem, co-create with it. I don't do any of these. I'm in my own world, in my palace, building it and coming. They say, what is this? This is not what I asked for.
Mm.
So what I tell the entrepreneurs is go live with your customers. If it is a B2B issue, go talk to the clients, work with them, walk with them, find out the problem, find out what are they ready to do, how much are they ready to pay for a solution for that. Then you go back and develop it.
Yeah.
Be it a talk or an app or a product, whatever you're looking at. We don't talk. We sit and I'm going to give you a classic example in India, my pet peeve, that folks sitting in Bombay and Delhi writing copy for advertisements that are running down south, and they have not even stepped into the customer's shoes here. They think what happens in the north is exactly the same that happens in the south. The eating habits are different, cultural habits are different, and then they wonder why the advertisement did not work. A classic example. We cannot, as professional speakers, as entrepreneurs, make this fundamental mistake. And I can't construct a building without even doing soil testing to find out what kind of foundation I want to put in. I just can't fabricate a house, isn't it?
Correct. This is so important and
absolutely
an important message. Yeah. So once you came up with a very interesting word, which a lot of people are a bit scared to do or even use, is co-create. Because some people, especially if they are professionals or they are qualified, they think the minute I want to co-create with my customers or others or community or other colleagues, it looks like they are less intelligent or less powerful. What is your take on that?
My take on that, you remember that voice I told you that is a negative voice? It continues to rely in negative speculation. Oh, don't ask, you'll get rejected. Oh, don't ask, what if they say no? Why waste time? Why don't you go ahead and develop? Speculation is speculation. When you have the choice to speculate, why not speculate positively? Yes, he will accept. If he doesn't, this is what I'm going to say. So most of us don't even want to think about proposing to a customer to say, let us co-create. You have a pain point, I have a potential solution. Can we work together to get it through? You'd be surprised by how many of them say, yes, I'm happy to work with you to get a solution.
Okay.
Right? But 99% of the entrepreneurs don't ask because of that negative speculation. Or, I know everything. What? Yes, I know. I've been in this industry 20 years.
Yes.
You think I don't know? Huh? But the reality is I don't know. So my take is talk with them, live with them. Without which, even as an entrepreneur, I've had failures. When you just, super idea, let's get it out. You get it out, nothing happens.
Yeah, true.
But whenever I have co-created, let's say you have a particular problem and the pain point I've identified, I work with you. You are going to talk about the solution to 25, 30, 40 other people, isn't it? And you create that aspect to go right ahead.
If, for example, when during this co-creation process, normally what you do, you go and talk to them, or you're going to live with them, or you're going to observe what is the method?
All of the above, but not in sequence. The first is clearly studying a little bit more of this particular segment and identifying 4 or 5 people to be my micro market. And going and talking to them saying, this is what I have observed, is it right or wrong? It's a kind of a research survey that you do as an entrepreneur yourself. Okay. And then you ask them very politely, is it possible for me to, I'm going to give you a radical example of some market research companies went through the garbage bins and wrote down all the products and things that they have used, which products have been thrown away, half eaten, etc., to get an understanding of the customer and their usage and behavior patterns. Okay. But here you can ask them straight, you can click a picture of where they are. If there is a pain point that is genuine, how can I work with you? And they'll be very open to tell you about all the potential things that they have tried to solve that particular problem. All we need to do is ask, and we don't ask. And it is the same when you come to a B2B audience. Bulk of us, we speak professionally to corporates and other associations. When you go with clarity and ask them the right questions, they are happy. They'll give you only 5 minutes. But when they realize that in 5 minutes, you know exactly what their pain point is and what they are talking, the 5 will become 50 minutes without knowing. And they'll be happy to work with you, to try to develop a proof of concept, to work with you on some aspects.
Because I think the fear of rejection is what
it's really big. Really big.
It is what is prohibiting a lot of people to go and ask. And once we overcome that, we might be able to go and ask that. Some people might can go and ask it. But how important it is to do a pre-research, like, for example.
A lot, yes. We can't go in blind. End of the day, we are here to provide a solution. We are here to go ahead and work on something. The more pre-research we do, the more narrower our identification of the potential pain point is going to be. And therefore, it is a whole lot more easier for us to ask. I can't come and, yes, okay, what all problems you have? Can you tell me? Can you list down? Can you write? No. But when I tell you, I know you are a global traveler. When you reach into the airports, what is your biggest problem? Is it finding the lounge, or is it unwinding or finding a plug point? Then we start talking. Right? So there is a bit more
basically, you have
focus.
to identify some common connecting points, connectors, right? That's what you're saying.
That's important. Yeah. And then, of course, ask the people around. Because if I know Iyaz, I don't know Iyaz, for example, I'll ask Afif, I'll ask a few other people, I'll ask Riba, who knows you, to help me identify, is this a real pain point that he has spoken about? They say, yes, he's looking for a solution. Makes things easier.
Yeah, that's very practical. Yeah. I think that is a way to overcome the fear of rejection as well.
Yeah.
You know this person when you don't know their interests. When you
I would use a different term. Let's not overcome the fear of rejection. Let's ignore that fear of rejection. It is always going to be there. Rejection is always going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you had asked me today, I would have said no. Yeah. What if I had said no? You'll ask me 1 week later.
But if I didn't ask, would this happen?
Then it's a straightforward rejection.
No. What happens is, unless I ask, how do you know it will be a rejection or not?
Yeah. Beautiful. I say ignore that fear of rejection. Identify it, say I hear you, and say get lost.
Yes. Very true. So you are also big in, I think, marketing. The way you dress up to, I know a lot of my viewers will be noticing your mustache as well, because you can't ignore that. Right?
Yes.
So how strategically you align all those things?
Very strategically. I'm dressed in black and yellow. My mustache is my mascot that goes through, because I speak on unconventional marketing and branding. Branding is not the ads that you see. And I generally have a very simple example of marketing, advertisement, and branding. When I know who am I for, what is my purpose, and what solution I can bring about, I become a marketer. When I communicate that, yes, that I'm an unconventional marketer, I work with growth stage companies, putting in visibility, engineered word of mouth systems, I'm advertising it through your podcast, through ads, through brochures, everywhere. But what sticks in your mind? Unconventional, high energy, black and yellow, marketing, engineered word of mouth are the neuron connections. That is branding. End of the day, you see black and yellow, Praveen's name must come. You see a big mustache, my name should come. When somebody asks you, I need a speaker on unconventional marketing or engineered word of mouth, my name has to come the first. That is branding. And it is all engineered, because this is what I like, this is what I do, this is what I want to be remembered for. Not just the attire, the brand, the color, but also the keywords, the energy, and the fact that I'm here to inspire creators like you and all the others who are listening in.
Wonderful. I think that is a great lesson a lot of people can take up, because it's an aspect where a lot of people are not much bothered as well.
They are not. In fact, right down to my teacup is black and yellow.
Everything is designed in that way, isn't it? So I guess you are very good at designing all these things across business. You must be a very good life designer as well, which I don't hear much about you talk.
Oh, I'm a good wife designer. I have only one, 25 years, and full kudos to her for allowing me to be me and expanding and helping me to be me. That is very, very important. And we run two businesses together. So therefore, there is almost always that is necessary. And when you pick and choose the people you want to be around with, and there is a like-minded aspect, they are there for you. And I'll give you a clear example. About 1 month ago, Kriba called me and said, I'm seeing your Instagram videos. You can do this, this, and this to improve. Why don't you try it and see? Or Sangeeta calls me and says, I saw this in your blog. There are 2-3 errors. Can you go ahead and correct it? So these are the people who are not doing it to bring me down. They are doing it to take me further up. When you pick and choose the people and you surround yourself with the people to whom you also go ahead and help.
Correct.
And there is no keeping count. Yeah, I helped you 3 times, you only helped me 2 times. That doesn't come here. Then you pick and choose.
You help for the sake of helping and the person. That has to be the passion.
That helps quite significantly. See, we spent 2 days at a speaker conference learning. We spent a whole day. What am I going to do? What is my learning? How are we going to implement? What is the time frame? How are we going to put that in place? And with the same group that is not even from my city. We meet once a year during the Professional Speakers Conference, but we, of course, connect virtually. My part is the old saying, You tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. In this case, when I have the opportunity to pick and choose good acquaintances and friends around me, and we work together to raise the entire tide, all the boats will rise.
Wonderful.
So that is what I would say.
This is an advice my dad gave me when he kept send me to study in the mother city. He said, "Get good friends who are good at studies. You will ultimately become good."
Yes.
He was right. This is why always, whenever I travel, I also search for acquaintances and
Yes.
friends. Even making friends, I'm very peculiar about
Yes.
what kind of people they acquaintance with.
And it continues in the work as well. So I can't claim credit on the design work.
Yeah.
The designers, my video editor, my office staff who got this cup, when they all align and get it, you don't need to think too hard.
Yes. Because they also get what you want,
Yes.
right? So, Praveen, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you at your office today. What will be your last advice for somebody who is like stuck in the middle career and wondering, what I need to do in my life, or have I wasted all my life, or I have not become financially independent even though I'm in his or late 30s, and a lot of people are stuck. This is what I call stuck in the mud, in their career. For this kind of people actually to break through, and you at the beginning you mentioned some people who became entrepreneurs after 50 years. We know a lot of people like the founder of KFC.
Yes.
So many people came even after retirement, right? And then made legacies which even lived beyond their lifetime. So how can people break through that and build legacies?
One, positive speculation. What happened has happened. There's no point crying over spilt milk. You've got a whole life ahead, one day at a time. And the only way to get unstuck is find out, is it the culture, is it the environment, is the set of people that you're growing with? You always need somebody higher who can bend down and pull you up. And I've had the pleasure of many such people. Every time I get stuck, I have somebody I can call and talk to who will either slap me, but after slapping, pull me up and give me the right part of it. So you will need to grow beyond your current circle. You will also need to continue to do positive speculation and have a lot more affairs, not the marital kind, but the passion kind. How will you know? A lot of these people get into the midlife crisis and do something rash and jump out and do something unplanned and harm themselves. My part is, please moonlight. If you have a good boss, sunlight. Explore all these options, and when it takes off, jump in, cast off. That would be my advice.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Praveen.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
And,
absolutely.
I truly enjoyed this conversation. Super. I wish we can go and spoke more about it maybe on some other occasion, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
For my viewers, until we come back again, don't forget to be unretirable, and don't forget to be awesome, and don't forget to try out and moonlight or sunlight, and be passionate about what you are doing. I'm sure you might be infused with a lot of energy already from Praveen. Until we come back, thank you very much.